Okay, this is probably my third or fourth attempt at this. Right, update. Using the iPad today, so the picture might be a bit crap, I don't know. Getting there, slowly but surely. Quad niggle seems cleared up. Still having issues with my right tendon, bicep tendon, into forearm, but I've got hold of some XXL knee sleeves. Now they're a bit tight, it took about 3 people to get them on, but I'm going to give them a bash today and see how my tendon holds up with them in place. Diet is better. It's never not been clean really. It's more been quantity that's been the issue since I went off track about 5 weeks ago. But getting more consistent. Still having distension and some bloat issues and some bad wind issues. Having to really watch what I eat. But otherwise, getting there. I say I've lost 5 weeks. Didn't eat much. Training was substandard because of that. Motivation was very substandard. And as a result, I'm not where I want to be. At this point, I should be dieting for body power. Well, now I'm really more concentrated on just getting back on top and getting consistent again. And getting as full and as big as I was. I've reduced overall intake. Carbs are a bit higher, proteins are lower. So running somewhere between 800 and 1,000 grams of carbs a day, about 500 protein, about 200 fats. Just got what I can't eat egg whites anymore, but I'm alright with whole eggs. Oats are another up and down one. So I've switched to a couple of drinks with rice flour and whey protein to supplement real food. It's not something I like doing, it's not something I want to do, but I need to get the calories in, and if I can't eat them, I'll have to drink them. Gear wise is pretty consistent. 2.5 G test, 1 G tren, and 150 mg Anavar. Training's not really following any sort of structure in the sense of sets and reps. It's very much how I feel on a day at the moment. Because I'm obviously just at the moment working around niggles, and if a tendon flares up, which tends to flare up on pressing more than anything else for some strange reason. But if it flares up, then I'm just having to do what I can to get through. A lot more motivated though. Bloody hell, excuse me. A lot more fired up. Spoke to Rich Piana a couple of days ago via email. He is definitely going to make body power, but he's still not giving me a firm yes or no on this training thing. Other changes. Oh yes, started using a product by VPX called Bang. It's a pre-workout in a can, basically. It's a big, like a size of a big monster can. And the main thing about it's creatine, beta-alanine, branched-chain aminos, that sort of thing. And a shitload of caffeine, and that's it. No, I'm not a fan of stimulants, but I don't mind caffeine, and this does seem to be helping. It just takes the edge off the problems I'm having with a lack of sleep. I'm still waiting for my sleep clinic appointment, by the way. But it just takes the edge off that, and workouts have definitely been more focused. And back to my sort of old self with using it. So I'm going to keep that in for now. Other training wise, everything's always pretty steady really. Training's going quite well. Intensity's back there. All of that front's going really good. Right. On other news, some of you may not have seen the news thing. So I thought I'd explain a little bit as to why it was done. For those that don't know, I also work as a performance and image enhancing drugs counsellor. I do lectures and presentations to various people. about the harms associated with steroid use. It's not steroids are evil, steroids are bad. It's an honest look at the problems that you may occur. But a balanced view, or I'll try and keep it as balanced as possible. And with that, I work with the National Steroid Research Centre in Liverpool. And usually their first stop of call if any news people want anything to do with steroids or any information. So BBC Radio 1 rang them because NICE, who sort of oversee the harm reduction units and the needle exchanges, had brought out new guidelines that basically said that there should be more services in place for steroid users and that the services that are there aren't good enough and the knowledge base that's there is not good enough. And it also suggested that the NHS picked the finger up a bit with it as well. Now this was based on the fact that needle exchanges were reporting a 645% increase in users coming through the door. Now this isn't massive, and we've gone from very low numbers to still very low numbers, but that's the percentage. So obviously they jumped on it, big sensational headline. So Radio 1 contacted the research centre through my way, and I agreed to do it on the condition that it wasn't going to be steroid bashing. And I do have concerns. The bodybuilding community is quite safe and quite self-policing. And there's a lot of support there. But there are groups of young lads relying on bro science and what their mates told them to do. And when you talk to these guys, they don't even have a clue of what product they're injecting, let alone the strength of it. And the thing is, it's when these guys screw up, even though they're down in 10 pints and taking a lot of coke at the weekend as well, it's the steroids that get blamed, and then we all get tarred with the same brush. And, these are idiots, whatever they do, it's got nothing to do with steroids, but at the end of the day, steroids take the blame. So the better we can educate these people and the safer we can keep them, then the less damage is transferred across to the rest of the users. Anyway, I said I'd do it, but I didn't want it to be steroid bashing. They promised me it wouldn't be. Now, editing caused some problems because the one piece had to be less than a minute, I think, or just over a minute. But it wasn't brilliant, and I'm first to admit that, but it wasn't as bad as a lot I've seen. Off the back of that, I did a Radio 5 live interview, I did a Radio Coventry interview, I did an LBC interview, and I did a News 24 live interview. Radio 5 Live was cut a bit short because of that silly cow resigning over expenses frauds. And didn't really get where I wanted it to go. The LBC interview, the one was so biased and prejudgmental, it was unreal. Her whole attitude was taxpayers shouldn't be paying for fucking syringes for druggies. But the Coventry one and the news one, I felt were really balanced, and I enjoyed doing them and felt I really got a good strong point across there. Apparently it's gone all over the world. A friend of mine in New Zealand sent me the link yesterday from New Zealand, from their news channel that had used it. So it's definitely been moved around a bit. Off the back of this, BBC are talking to me about a documentary. Early days yet. But they're wanting to air it straight after Top Gear, which is a bit daunting because that's one of the most viewed TV programmes on British TV. So we'll see. Same conditions apply. If it's going to become sensationalism, I'm not interested. However, JG Films, James Grealish, who I did my training vid with, and who does a lot for Test Muscle, we're going to be doing a DVD together, feature length, 90 minute, 3 days of filming my whole workouts and just life as me. Fly on the wall sort of job. He's going to follow me everywhere. They'll be injecting, there'll be drug talk, there'll be my opinion on various topics and subjects, and just how life is living at my size. That starts filming on the 29th of this month, and we're hoping it to be out just after Body Power. And it'll be available at $9.99 as a download. I don't know much more than that. Very early stages, we haven't really discussed it in any detail, daft as it sounds, but it seems to work well for us. And I've got that other documentary to do with the independent filmmaker, which has sort of died a death at the moment, but that's probably more my fault. I promised him a lot of stuff and I haven't done it, so I need to get my finger out my arse and get that sorted. So that's that. There was something else I was going to tell you as well. I can't remember what the hell it was. Oh well, never mind. So, to sum up, back on track. Still got some dietary issues. No problem with gear. Couple of niggles, but dealing with them. And when I have been niggle free and the power's been there, I've put some pretty decent numbers up actually. I got 220 behind a neck press again the other week. I'm back deadlifting 7 plates. I definitely think I've got the 7 plate squat in me again, but I'm a bit wary with this niggle. I picked in my leg doing 6 plate hack squat. But otherwise, yeah, all good. Looking forward to body power. Going to be a bit strange not being on a stand. It's the first time I've not worked it in years. Be nice to have a look around, but at the same time it's weird not having a base to work from. But hell, that's how it is. Nobody wants a druggie on the stands. Oh, that was the other thing. Really bad water retention at the moment. Terribly so, especially lower limbs, but generally all over. I'm not drinking enough water, and I know this, and I keep pushing it and keep trying to get back on top with it. And for some reason I'm just struggling with that. So I'll have to really push again and try and make a conscious effort with that. But otherwise, all good. I hope everybody's well, and I'll catch up with you all soon.